Hello. Hello. How's everyone doing? What is up? How do you do? How do you do? What's going on, people? We're starting the stream, imagine. Imagine me being late to a stream. Literally never happens. Almost never happens. My favorite streamer to watch while waiting. Hello, Apple. Hey there, Von Clark the Shark. Hey, Time Stroll and 182. How do you do? Let's wait for more people to tune into the stream. Fuck, I started like 10 minutes late. Damn, that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I overslept. I just overslept. It is what it is. It is what it is, boys. It happens. I came dead tired from work. It was too much to bear. I didn't even expect them myself. But thank God I always put an alarm. Just in case. It actually came in handy this time. So how you guys are doing? We have a lot to talk about. We have some interesting topics. We have some interesting WoW videos I've been wanting to watch. Because you started 10 minutes late, it's only fair the stream goes an hour longer. Man, you're giving me the GeneralApple reaction treatment. You just 10x everything. That's not good. That's not good. You learned. I mean, imagine. Imagine me turning like a 10-minute video into an hour-long video. That would probably be the day I know that I won. I know that I became a streamer. That's how you do it. I know that I became a slop tuber. Wow, surprisingly we have more viewers on Twitch than on YouTube. What the hell happened? Guys, am I becoming popular on Twitch? What is the cutoff on Twitch where you can start committing crimes? Is this like 100 viewers? Like, what is that? I actually don't know. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Ooh, Zaryu is live. He's playing Warcraft 3. I'm about to play Warcraft 3 on stream. I think that people would like to see that. I think that would be interesting. Hey Cottage, how do you do? Yeah, we're gonna wait just 5 more minutes. We'll wait 5 more minutes for more people to tune in, and then we're gonna start the show. Well, yourself? I'm doing okay. Well, I'm actually not doing okay, but I stream, and streaming makes me feel okay. My entire life is crumbling, but it is what it is. We have to make it. We have to make it out there. So let's see. Damn, I really want to play Warcraft 3, man. I never finished that game, but I heard about it so much, and I remember the parts that I did play, and they were great. Really need to make a Warcraft 3 nights. I think people would love it. I think it would be fun. Let's see. We had other videos, I think. Well, let me just check something. Oh yeah, this one, I'll save it for tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Apparently Fallout, there was like a Fallout drama. I don't really know what happened there. But we'll check it tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a good day, for sure. So Monday hit you hard, guys? Or you're like, fine? How is that? Like, how you guys are doing in your own life? Tell me. Tell me everything. I already know everything about you. I've been there forever. But I just want you to tell me to see if you're speaking the truth. And if you don't, I'll let you know. Because I'm just like that. I'm chill like that. Playing Ascension? Based. Dude, I wish I could. I wish I could play Ascension so much. I'm actually jelly of you. Who's my favorite French streamer? Is he here? I don't know. You should ask him. But I'm doing like okay. I always do great when I stream. Stream is like my favorite part of the day. Man, I love streaming. I love streaming so much, dude. Like talking with you guys. I've seen people, I'm not even joking. I've seen, dare I say, a girl streamer that has like 1K or 2K viewers at the time. Now, granted, she is like viewbotting 100%, but like the chat isn't moving. The thing I'm glad is that my chat is like constantly moving. Well, you know, at times, right? And that's like really, really great. But I just love my community, man. And we're growing. We're constantly growing. We have 127 followers on Twitch. That's crazy. For streaming 3 weeks on Twitch, that's insane. And like 2.5 months on YouTube, that's absolutely crazy. Like, I absolutely love that. We have more and more new people coming in by the day. Every streamer growing stronger. One day we're gonna make it big, guys. Even though YouTube for some reason marked my channel as of late, I don't know why, I get 0 impressions. I really don't understand why. I hope the new video will do fine. But I have absolutely no idea. Like, why in God's name I've got so many low impressions on the last videos. Let's see. There we go. Oh, damn. 30 views already. 20 minutes. Wait, that's crazy good. Okay, maybe we're getting impressions here. Guys, if you can watch this video, give it a like. Kekji. I mean, yeah. It seems like we popped off and then YouTube for some reason just refused to give me impressions. I don't know why. We had a pretty good week and then we had a bad week. I'm pretty sure the algorithm is just completely messed up. Yeah, Twitch would love you. Your potential as an influencer can go far. I'm assuming you're gonna say can, because cam takes it to a whole different direction. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And to be honest, I don't think Twitch would like me as much. I think they like girls way more than like bearded brown dudes. But like, I appreciate the compliment, man. Thank you so much. I'm gonna do my best, obviously. Listen, we're growing by the day. Like, it's awesome. We already have 7 subs on Twitch. We have 127 followers. That's crazy. And obviously the channel is growing. We're making our strides to 5K. That's incredible. Oh, sorry, can? Nah, it's a cam. I love that cam direction. Who knows? Maybe for the future. Imagine. Bro, if I open my Twitch right now, the things you're going to see on my main page... And by the way, like, I don't browse Twitch, I don't do anything on Twitch. Like, the default page for me on Twitch, the recommended videos, I don't think I can showcase them on YouTube. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Do a collab with Rose? But I like, listen, I don't want to do a wig reveal. My main page is cursed too. Yeah, it's crazy. But it's not really tailored for you, by the way. It's just like whoever Twitch chooses to promote. It doesn't really matter. It's all like insider gaming. You really... unless you're seriously connected, you're never gonna show up on the front. It's just like reality. Unless you're seriously connected or popular, you're never gonna show on front. It is what it is. Like, that's how it works. I mean, you have the same people at the front with like 100 viewers and stuff. It's just so weird. Wait, at lunch watching YouTube for a few minutes? Based. Thank you, Nate. We appreciate that. Been a while since I see you here, I think. When was the last time you were here? Like 2 weeks ago? Shame on you. I'll always eat lunch while I stream. But yeah, for you, I'm going to start the video. Nah, I'm just kidding. You arrived at the perfect time. So we waited long enough for people to arrive. So I think we can just start straight up. We'll just start and the rest can join us. I've started really late, so I don't want to stall too much because I started like 10 minutes late. Unfortunately, I overslept. But you know, the trade-off is I feel refreshed. I feel really good. Like I don't know, like sleeping will do that to you. It's crazy when you don't skip on sleep. Like you actually, I don't know, get to enjoy life and shit. Like that's crazy. I would have never imagined. But yeah, we're gonna start off strong, boys. We have a really great video here. I haven't watched it. I just watched the first minute of it. But my God, this is something I've been talking about constantly. I'm probably gonna make like my separate video on maybe Saturday, just talking about this topic. But I have another topic queued up, so I don't really know. I can do one video per Saturday. Unfortunately, wait, what? I'm an assistant manager, bro, in building maintenance, so I'm busy most days. Based. At least you're working, man. Like, that's great. You have a job. You're employed. All of my viewers are employed. I'm glad for them, but it's a problem for me. I need you to be unemployed. I need infinite watch time. Like, do you understand? But, yeah, anyway, we waited long enough for people, so... Oh, this is gonna be a good stream. By the way, we're gonna play some Lords of the Fallen later. Ooh. But I really want to just finish this game because it's, like, garbage. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. One stone turned at a time. So, anyway, guys, what do we say? Shall we start the stream? Can we have the chat rolling? Can we say... Man, I wish we have WoW back. We need to make sure the YouTube frogs think I'm popular on Twitch, and that way they would be inclined to subscribe to my channel due to herd mentality. Can we get that cooking? Can we get that brewing in the chat? Whoever's lurking, type right now. Type right now. I wish we had WoW back. I love old World of Warcraft. Man, I wish we had WoW back. Thank you. Finally. Finally. We're getting something steaming up here. Man, that's crazy. I still have more viewers on Twitch than YouTube. What the hell happened today? Like, people just got lost or something? Like, what the hell is going on? That's crazy. It's usually never the case. Make WoW bold again? Yes. Yes. Finally. But no, for real, this is, like, going to be an interesting video. This is going to be a good one, guys. So, yeah. Let's clear our throat here. So, as I was saying, guys... Oh, shit, sorry. My bad, I accidentally clicked. I think I already played with the volume. It should be fine. I recalibrated it. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, boys, World of Warcraft has been taken away from us by the Rainbow Mafia. And you know what? I'm so glad that so many people are waking up right now and actually starting to speak against it. I couldn't have been happier.
World of Warcraft, baby! Yeah!
My dog loves World of Warcraft.
This used to be World of Warcraft, a game full of conflict and war. It's considered by many the greatest and biggest video game ever made, generating way past $10 billion in its lifetime. But somewhere along its way, it has lost its magic.
I was entertained literally every second. In current World of fucking Warcraft, you can get to level 100 by buying it.
It's like the game, like you can't even understand.
And back in the day when Soda Poppin' was right. It's crazy. It's crazy. Imagine paying for leveling up inside of an MMORPG. I always call it out as being the dumbest thing you can ever do. It beats the entire purpose. It's like buying your gear in Path of Exile. Why would you do that? There's no reason to play after you have.
What the fuck is happening in the game?
For years, the
good old
company
days.
behind the game, Blizzard, has desperately been trying to recreate the magic that once was, but without much success. Today, they're even afraid to disclose their own subscriber numbers, and the people behind the game wished it wasn't even called Warcraft anymore.
Man, I wish we hadn't called it Warcraft. Sounds kind of intimidating.
Which is confusing.
Sounds kind of intimidating, huh? Bro, it's just, please, can we just get rid of Holly Longdale? Come on, like, we have given her enough time to destroy the game. Can we give it to someone else so he can destroy it in a different manner? What are we doing here? Why do we think that this lady has any idea of how making our game great again? She didn't even try. What, she worked on EverQuest back in the day? I'm not even sure what she did there. She's clearly not doing anything for World of Warcraft or us. There's our hero, Holly. Well, she's not our hero yet because she didn't bust in the red Power Ranger suit. So, she still need to do that, like she, you know, is notorious to do. But after that, sure. Like, why not? It's so stupid. It's also weird. I don't understand why you keep the same people running down the company to the ground when you're literally losing money. And I mean, yes, Blizzard is technically profitable and they technically make million. They can make so much more. If you just make the right decisions and put balding men in charge, you'll see like a 200% increase at the least.
When it's literally a game about war between two factions. Now, how do you go from being recognized as the biggest game in the world to be embarrassed by your own name? I think I found the answer, but it's not as obvious as you might think. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why not even Blizzard can bring it back. In 2004, World of Warcraft took the gaming industry by storm, and it quickly became one of the biggest massive multiplayer online games.
I wouldn't talk to them if they don't play WoW.
What would get you to stop playing?
I don't want to stop. Why would I want to stop?
How long are you gonna play for?
All night, all week maybe.
You don't have to work tomorrow?
Work? There's no such thing as work with WoW.
People literally spend years of their lives in the game. And some of the closest friendships came from meeting each other online.
It's so crazy that I wasn't available at the time, man. I was like, I think at the time where World of Warcraft was at its peak, I was too busy, like, eating crayons. It's crazy, dog. Like, how old was I? It's just insane. Like, you know, sometimes life is cruel like that. And my parents refused to buy me anything online. They would have never paid, definitely not monthly subscription, for me to play more video games. They were trying to actively deter me from playing anything on the PC because, you know, I wasn't really learning anything at school. What a surprise. Mr. Streamer, who tries to make it big out there, wasn't like a perfect grade A student. What a shocker, right? But it's so funny, and at the same time, it is so sad, because I never experienced World of Warcraft as I should have back in the day. And Classic re-release was extremely good for me, and I enjoyed it, and I would remember it until the rest of my days, but it will never be the same. So I'm kind of really hoping to get this with Classic Plus, but I gotta be honest with you, Chief, I don't think Blizzard will pull it off.
We met on World of Warcraft.
I got him in a WoW. I got like 7 of my friends in a WoW.
How old are you? I'm 28.
Ex-girlfriend. Emphasis on the eggs.
When new expansions came out, people would travel across continents just to wait in line for the midnight release.
We're at EB Games in West Hollywood for the release of the Burning Crusade.
I come from Mexico just to get Burning Crusade.
Now, briefly put, World of Warcraft was a world inhabited by its players. And as you made your character, you naturally also picked the faction that you would belong to, which was a choice at first that didn't really seem like it mattered, but it did. Now imagine that you entered the zone, the Barrens, as a Horde player. You're excited to have hit level 10. You place your first talent point in your talent tree, looking forward to filling out the remaining 50. You're now off to explore the world. But suddenly, an Alliance player marked as Skull appears out of nowhere and just kills you. You press release spirit, only to find yourself having to walk for 10 minutes as a ghost. So you find your body and are able to come back to life. But then, 3 seconds after you come to life, the Alliance player kills you once again. You see, he gets his joy out of making your life miserable, which is why he's been waiting for you for all 10 minutes. And this is
average Alliance player behavior. Would have never been made if this was a Horde player. He would have just killed you, and then he would have called another friend to kill you. He would just keep on finding other people to farm. That's how it works in the Horde. We respect each other. We do honorable kills here.
Exactly where the magic of World of Warcraft happens. Because nothing builds a stronger bond between players than sharing a common enemy. You start to ask for help from other Horde players in the zone-wide chat. And together, you defeat that Alliance.
Horde kill in Red Ridge all the time? Someone ban that guy.
Now from this day onwards, you're a Horde player for life, officially at war with the Alliance.
I'm looking for World PvP because I hate Horde, so I kill Horde when I see Horde.
Do you guys play together?
No, we play different servers. He's Horde, I'm Alliance.
Oh, that's like severed bedroom.
What
Wait
the
until she
hell?
levels up so I can kill her.
It became
Base!
a cult-like
Holy
movement.
shit,
Like the amount of
Base!
people who walk up to me and show me their Horde tattoo.
Yeah, that's my tattoo. The Alliance.
Alliance.
Why the bald dude is on the Horde side and the rest of the people with hair are on the Alliance? Are we sensing a pattern here or something?
Horde. Come on, man.
Even commercials were centered around the two factions at war.
What is that?
But the extreme rivalry of the two factions wasn't just something that randomly happened. In fact, it was born from one of the most controversial decisions in the game's development.
The world is divided into two warring factions. There's the Horde and the Alliance. And that was a very important, very controversial decision that was made by Alan Adham. Pardo and I came from EverQuest, where we felt like this was a horrible decision Alan was making.
You see, in EverQuest, every race would be able to group up and play together. Splitting the world in two was seen as a very bad strategic move. But
It was. It was, and it was a mistake, and it was all due to the greed of Alan Adham, and I do really like Alan. I think he's a phenomenal boss for like Blizzard as far as I've heard for them, and he actually took the entire company in such a good direction, but this was a horrifying decision. The Horde versus Alliance didn't really make any sense after Warcraft 3. They should have always been together, and it was just like stupid. It made no sense whatsoever. He just wanted World PvP to make sense, so he decided to take the game in this direction, and it was stupid. It should have never been the case.
Alan Adam, one of the
Have you played EverQuest? No, I need to one day.
founders of Blizzard, had seen something that the others hadn't.
He came from more of the dark age of Camelot that was more PvP based.
Yeah.
And he said the magic of that game was they had 3 factions. He liked the fact that you were instantly on a team. You weren't a loner in the world. Whether you liked it or not, you had people on your side. Alan's a smart guy. The fact that he was fighting so hard for Horde Alliance, we gotta do it.
The war between the factions wasn't just a side effect, it was the design. But splitting the world into 2 teams were only half of it, because a rivalry and a war, well, it needs a reason behind it.
By the way, this guy cut off the part where Jeff said it was a bad decision. I watched the whole podcast, so he did use a little bit of editing magic here. If you want to watch the full stuff, you'll see that Jeff Kaplan said that it was a bad decision. So it's kind of a disingenuous thing on his part. It's fine. Okay, I get it. Like, he wanted to prove his point. Fine. It is what it is.
To make you want to fight. And that reason, that came from just only one man.
Chris Metzen, who was the creative director on World of
There he
Warcraft,
is.
and really like Alan Adham, who's one of the founders of Blizzard, calls Chris the heart and soul of Blizzard. It's almost like when you're making a Blizzard game, you're making Chris's imagination. And Chris famously said the lead character of World of Warcraft is the world.
You see, World of Warcraft was based off of the game Warcraft, which was a strategy game about 2 armies at war. And Metzen had been the one writing the war since the very beginning.
You know, in Warcraft 1, we had the kingdom of Stormwind and the land of Azeroth, and it was the conflict of that game was pretty much contained within that place. You know, the orcs come through the swamps of Sorrow and, through Elwyn Forest and attack Stormwind. The scope of that conflict was pretty small. As we started talking about Warcraft 2, and the idea of expanding the 2 armies as a human group became the alliance, with elves and dwarves and gnomes. Reciprocally, the orc group expanded to include forest trolls and ogres and death knights and all sorts of good creepy guys. So a lot of the design decisions with the 2 armies and kind of expanding them predicated building the world and building it out further.
Now, Alan Adam and Chris Metzen both agreed on a very important thing, and that was the game needed both factions and a reason to fight each other, essentially giving birth to the magic of the World of Warcraft. But to Chris, this wasn't just a video game that they were making.
It's more than just a video game. It's more than just this project we work on, for long periods of time. It's a vehicle through which we engage with the world, through our community, through the players and the people that love the fiction or the raiders, the PvP players, right? All sorts of different types of WoW player out there, but we're all kind of united by this space.
And the passion that the players would feel from Chris Metzen building these stories so passionately to bring us together is essentially what made World of Warcraft such a big game for years. But Blizzard's biggest success of a video game would soon get in very big trouble. When you attract millions upon millions of players interested in paying a subscription fee, well, you also attract someone else. And someone else was knocking on Blizzard's door. Meet Bobby Kotick, a hardcore American businessman who had...
There he is! The face of corporate greed. Manifest. My God. Guys, how many yachts Bobby has now? I lost count. Is it like 13 or something? Like, what is that?
Been at the steering wheel for Activision since the 90s. His entire career was built on doing turnarounds of companies near bankruptcy.
You know what? I never ran a business that didn't make money. Like, that gets back to the DNA of, I don't know how to do that.
After successfully turning the sinking ship of Activision around, he was hungry for more. So he put his target on a studio that could build him an empire, Blizzard Entertainment. The deal he made merged Activision with Blizzard's parent company. And from that, they created a giant called Activision Blizzard, with Bobby Kotick at the steering wheel together with his board. And they
I still to this day have not a damn clue of why Blizzard sold out. What was the point? You were making millions. What would the Activision merger have done for you? But to be fair, I think the entire business industry at the time were very, very innocent because it was, gaming industry was very, very, it was very inexperienced because they weren't businessmen. They were gamers. Mike Morhaime was a gamer. And, you know, Alan Adham was a gamer. They didn't really know anything about business. They thought maybe it would be a great opportunity to get more money to build even bigger projects, and they did not realize the direction the ship is going to take. I think that's what ended up happening, and nowadays, after we've been scarred by 2 decades of corporate greed, more and more indie companies are starting to pop out like mushrooms in the rain, and we're never going to see the same mistake happening again.
Only had one thing in mind, and that was making money. Now the timing was almost too perfect because Blizzard were actually mid-development on what would become the single biggest expansion that World of Warcraft would ever see, growing from all the way up to 12 million subscribers. Do you realize how much money that is? They were nearly making $180 million per month. Now making money isn't necessarily a bad thing, because Blizzard were already doing so way before Activision entered the image. But when your #1 priority is to be profitable, it shifts the focus from making the World of Warcraft to make money off of the World of Warcraft. And this matters because suddenly the game and the people developing it had metrics and targets to reach, which means that the decision making wasn't up to Chris Metzen all alone anymore, but rather in the boardroom talking about numbers and targets. Suddenly, the content that was made and released with the patches was more focused on keeping you playing with the daily and weekly chores. But even worse, microtransactions were also introduced. Now the first purchasable mount, the Celestial Steed, was priced at $25. And according to a former Blizzard developer, it ended up making more money than StarCraft 2 would ever make.
And that is the problem. That right there is the problem, because you really cannot blame the big companies who push this when we as the consumers actually engage in that. If this mount would have came out and made $0, do you think Blizzard would have done this again? Of course not. But the reason they're constantly doing this is because the return on investment is so massive. Creating this mount or any other mount that Blizzard pushes out today takes them probably like, what, a week of work at best, and possibly by one person too. And the amount of dollars they make off of it is well worth the effort. That's why they don't care. That's why whatever we shout from the mountaintops that we don't want another store mount, we don't want another monkey dressed in a baby suit or some sort of a furry, scaly, weird, cringe mount, or transmog like a Murloc onesie, they don't care. Because people actually buy it. I remember the entire Long Boy drama with Asmongold back in the day. I'm this old to know that the entire WoW community nowadays is just stupid. They purchase everything, they want to flex that they have money, and they're like, oh, look at my $50 mount. Like, homie, you're pathetic. Blizzard literally had to disable the /spit emote to protect Boglomites such as you. It's so laughable. Yeah. That was a lie though from Pirate Software. What was a lie from Pirate Software? That the mount made more money than StarCraft? Listen, it may or may not be true, but I can confirm that the first OG microtransaction from Bethesda did made more money than like anything pretty much else. Like, and this is confirmed. It was like crazy amounts of money. Oh, that he had no mana. Oh no, this is the other conspiracy theory.
Think about that for a second. Bobby Kotick and Activision were really good at making money.
And by the way, even if it's like not true and it didn't make more money than StarCraft, like the return on investment, like I said earlier, is insane. Because creating these lame mounts take no effort whatsoever. If you know what you're doing, it's so laughably easy to create such a mount, and to sell it for $25, even if 100 people are buying it, you're still making money.
But they weren't the only ones who had noticed how much money that World of Warcraft was printing. The entire gaming industry wanted a piece of the pie. One by one, new MMOs started appearing. Star Wars: The Old Republic, at the time one of the most expensive video games ever made. Warhammer Online, Rift, Wildstar, and even Final Fantasy. Every time one of them was released,
keep in mind that 70% of these games are dead.
The press and some of the player base would hype it up to be a potential WoW killer, but essentially nothing could recreate the magic of World of Warcraft. Star Wars lost so many subscribers it went free.
Rift has. Rift is the only game who actually managed to make me think I'm playing old World of Warcraft. The problem with Rift is that it came out during the peak of World of Warcraft. If it didn't came out in Wrath of the Lich King, Rift would have been a much more successful video game. I'd go as far as to say that if Rift came out today, it would have made some serious waves. The problem is, they went against the Juggernaut when it was at its peak. So you couldn't have taken them down. Obviously, WoW was just too damn big.
To play within a year. WildStar got shut down, and Final Fantasy, it never really took off. Well, until later, but I'll get back to that. No WoW killers actually killed the game, and it was dominating its competition, essentially crowning it the king of the MMO genre. But as Chris Metzen wrote in his own story arc,
no king rules forever, my son.
As Blizzard had just peaked in its subscribers with the conclusion of its storyline of Wrath of the Lich King, something was about to go terribly wrong. You see, changing the focus from creating a world to milking it will never go unnoticed by your own player base. And the players, well, they just wanted the magic back.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
Say it. You think you do?
In 2013, one very brave soul managed to enter BlizzCon's Q&A and ask the Blizzard team directly if they would ever reintroduce a classic version of the game. But Activision Blizzard, well, they just dismissed his proposal.
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
Bro, the arrogance, the sheer hubris on this man. And you know what's the best part about this? That the same person was the one to announce vanilla World of Warcraft coming back. It was such a full circle, and I was gobbling this up. It was so pretentious, man. Like, to say that. Shame on you. Shame on you. But, yeah, didn't Rift and Guild Wars 2 came out around the same time? Yeah, but Guild Wars 2 never tried to be a WoW killer. And that's good. That's what actually saved the game. It didn't directly compete with World of Warcraft, unlike Rift, who literally said in their own trailer, you're not in Azeroth anymore. Rift directly punched at Blizzard and miserably failed. Yeah, he did it milking it. Classic.
Essentially breaking the link of trust between the developers and the players. Slowly but surely, the player base's frustration only grew bigger and bigger.
You probably heard me do a long rant about why I hate World of Warcraft currently. You can legitimately get to level 100 in a day. A fucking day. I feel like everyone wants to love World of Warcraft so fucking badly, and it's just so hard. It's just this stupid fucking deformed piece of shit.
But it wasn't just the players who were struggling with Blizzard's change of focus. On the inside, the very own people who had created the world were starting to struggle as well. By the release of the expansion Mr. Pandaria, Chris Metzen, the heart and the soul of the game, had started showing early signs of disagreeing with the direction of the game and Activision Blizzard.
Sure, it's a job. Sure, we got a company to run, we got a product to put out, but that's not the point.
He confided in an open interview that one of his greatest fears were to let down the Warcraft fans. He feared that people hated the game that they had made, and he dishonored the brand and the company behind it. He felt like a...
That's why you need to put him in charge. That's why I said that Chris Metzen taking the helm on Midnight and the entire World Soul Saga is a good step in the right direction, but it's not remotely close to enough. You need to give this man full operating space where he can do whatever he likes, and I could almost take my life on it. WoW will be great within a year. If you kick out Holly Longdale, our favorite grandmother, and put Chris Metzen in charge, World of Warcraft would instantly become better. And I would stake my life on it.
Victim of the split focus within Blizzard to make money. As he described in his own words, falling into a trap and cycle of performance. In 2016, Chris Metzen resigned from his role at Blizzard due to extreme burnout. But he didn't just leave Blizzard and the game behind. He also left the player base behind. You see, they kept releasing expansion upon expansion built to keep its players playing and sell copies. But the subscriber count would just still keep dropping. Eventually, Blizzard just stopped telling us what their subscriber numbers were. But as players had lost all hope for the game,
I wonder why.
Something had been going down in secret, as these supposedly MMO killers had been appearing left and right to push Warcraft off of its pedestal. It turns out that the actual threat wasn't any of them. 30 hardcore WoW fans who had been playing since the release of the classic game in 2004 had taken it upon their own hands to give the players what they actually wanted. Illegally, they had built a duplicate version of the old game and ran a publicly available server for free called Nostalrius. And the server, well, it was literally packed with people who had quit Blizzard's version of the game to play the game that had the magic that they fell in love with. In over a year, Nostalrius reached close to 1 million created accounts and over 150,000 active monthly players. Even the biggest World of Warcraft streamers, such as SodaPuppin, was playing on the Nostalrius servers when he wasn't streaming.
Everyone is playing Ascension right now, by the way. In case you think they don't, they do, and they actively say it nowadays, which is crazy. Because you would have never said that you played a private server openly back in the day. Nowadays, people don't give a shit. Like, they don't care. Obviously, we're not streaming it because we can't. It's against TOS. But everyone is playing Ascension, and everyone played Turtle WoW. That's why Blizzard had to take them down. So, it actively took away players from Blizzard. Wait, I would hope he had some input on Classic Plus. Who, Chris Metzen? Yeah, I think he would have. But the guy who's working on Classic is actually a good one. He'd work on good stuff in the past. And he does take feedback to heart, and he does comment on tweets and YouTube videos. So I would like to know if there's I would like to believe that he's doing a great work, but we can never really tell. It's funny how that you don't want Classic statement was so wrong. You just Google WoW numbers. It's like 500k daily logins versus 2k retail. Really? I've never checked the numbers. If that is true, it's insane. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Retail is clearly being funded by bots and whales. You don't really even need to watch statistics and graph for it. Just play the game. If you go to Midnight right now and go to Silvermoon, it's either empty or filled with bots. Nobody cares about the game anymore. And people dare tell you that the game is popping off with 9 million players daily or something. It's so stupid. How can you believe that? Of course Blizzard inflates their numbers with bots because each bot is a paying customer. So they don't care. That's the same reason for why they don't take them down, even though it's so easy. Turtle WoW did it. A private server did a better job than Blizzard, completely annihilating the botting within. And Blizzard can do it? No, of course they can. They just don't want to.
Ultimately showing to Blizzard that the real threat to World of Warcraft was its own former self. But because this was an illegally built server, and Blizzard owned the IP, they just without much hesitation sent a cease and desist to shut down the server. Which meant that once again, the players were very discouraged and felt more frustrated than ever.
They literally ran it for just the love of the game, as JonTron puts it. And you literally went out of your way and you got them shut down. It was your game. That was so good.
But then something incredible happened.
Every single serious gamer played World of Warcraft at least once in their life. Blizzard would make a ton of money. So many people would come back if these servers were made and released.
To convince Blizzard to finally listen, the players had realized.
By the way, his statement is only true if you weren't poor like me.
They needed to do the market
research for
Blizzard, showing the potential money that they could make off of re-releasing the classic game. And a petition was made. And it got signed by 280,000 people. It even got featured on BBC. Now, former WoW lead Mark Kern, he personally carried close to 10,000 of its pages into the official Blizzard HQ. And the Nostalrius team actually reached out to Blizzard to offer their help, saying that they would come on board to build the game with them. So Blizzard invited them in, and they met. But it was never disclosed what was said at the meeting, which to the players made it even worse when Blizzard afterwards just decided to say nothing. For a year and a half, nothing. Until November 3rd, 2017.
I want to take a minute.
What? Wait, what? 2017? Man, how old am I? What the hell? Oh my god. Wait, it's been almost a decade? What the fuck? Dog, I'm too old for this. Oh my god, that was such a reality check. Jesus. Wasn't 2017 like 3 years ago?
I want to talk about ice cream. What? No.
Immediately
No
realization
way,
hit
no
him.
way. Ice cream is one of my favorite desserts. But I understand that for some of you, no way. Your favorite flavor is vanilla. No way.
Vanilla? Fuck. The dwarf. Holy fuck. Oh, Jesus.
Well, in case you guys didn't notice,
you see they announced classic service?
We're doing
Wow,
it. We
wait.
agreed we were going to do that.
They got Asmongold out of the house? Wow. Dude, I didn't even remember it was this big. Damn. That's crazy. They actually got him out of the lair. Man, I bet the entire ozone lair was so scared at that time.
At the end.
I just want to make sure you knew.
I could not believe that it would be announced.
So I just watched the announcements. Dude, I lost it. Oh, I started tearing up.
J. Allen Brack, the very same guy who had gone out on stage to say that they would never release Classic and that we as the player base think we want it, but we don't. He went out on stage again at BlizzCon to reveal that World of Warcraft Classic was finally being re-released, and the community went crazy for it. As it was released, streamers flocked to play WoW, and even veteran players returned to feel that same feeling they had back in 2004 playing the game. It broke the launch day Twitch records, with 1.1 million viewers on release day, and Blizzard finally saw their subscriber count just go up, as it was, according to their own financial statements, the biggest quarterly subscription increase they had ever seen. There's just one massive problem with re-releasing an old game. You see, it was living on borrowed time. No matter how you looked at it, it is still a re-release of an old game. And come the final patch of that game, Blizzard didn't have its soul at the steering wheel, Chris Metzen, which meant that when players were still actively playing the classic game, the decision for where to go with World of Warcraft Classic had to be made by someone else. Now enter Holly Longdale, the brought-in lead for Classic. You see, Holly had came directly from EverQuest, the same game that the original developers of WoW had taken inspiration from, which sparked a hope in the community. But the thing is just that her...
Who wrote that? Who wrote that? Just looking at her in that damn Power Ranger suit. This gives you hope? What? Homie, you're tripping balls. That's crazy. If this is the face of hope, then I'm hopeless, son.
Hope in the community.
I've given up.
But the thing is just that her role at EverQuest wasn't connected to building an immersive world. It was something else. You see, under her decade-long tenure at EverQuest, she was in charge of re-releasing old versions of the game almost annually, each time with some added twist or a quality of life improvement, all to recycle old content and sell copies. Which is why when she joined Blizzard, Activision Blizzard went on to let Holly do what Holly does best. And that's when they announced that they would re-release the Burning Crusade Classic, just with extra vanity items to pay for and a copy to buy. Even seasonal servers, like they had done with EverQuest, came to life in World of Warcraft, constantly giving the player base hope that this would be a fresh version built on the old game that had so much magic that made it great. Eventually, of course, the disconnection to their player base caught up to Blizzard and to Holly, because while they kept re-releasing old content, while never really making meaningful updates to the game, the players had caught eye on something else. A WoW killer from the past that had come back to haunt the future of what WoW was. Final Fantasy XIV,
yeah.
A game that had initially failed, had remade their own game, and it was full of soul, as the creator behind it was a hardcore MMO player himself. Final Fantasy offered...
Not only that, Yoshi P literally forced his employees to play World of Warcraft and raid there to get more insight about how to develop a great MMO. So he wasn't only a great leader, he was a pioneer and a visionary. He's truly one of the best people amongst the gaming industry, even though I heard Dawntrail was doing really poorly. Apparently it set the stage for Evercold, that is the new expansion. I might have to go back to FF14, I'm not gonna lie. I've played it, I enjoyed it, it's insane. I do need to finish up Endwalker, even though I know the lore and stuff. Like, we might just do that. I don't really know. Depends on how good the new expansion will be.
The WoW players, a game that was built for gamers by gamers, like World of Warcraft once had been. And this caused a mass exodus from World of Warcraft by both players and huge streamers. But here's the sad truth. Because whenever Blizzard lost its players to a game like Final Fantasy or a private server like Nostalrius, they were literally being told the same thing. We don't want new, we want what was lost. Now, either Blizzard just couldn't hear it or actively chose to ignore it, because they were still trapped between the split focus of hitting quotas and keeping the players happy. But now there was a sale to Microsoft on the table, which meant that of course the numbers had to look good no matter what. So instead of rebuilding the world, they essentially just doubled down on the strategy of chopping down World of Warcraft Classic into several different versions of the old game. Seasons of Mastery, Seasons of Discovery, Hardcore, and Era. Each one spiked and then faded a little faster than the last. And selling game copies built on a feeling of nostalgia won't last forever. They had taken a mirror of what once used to be World of Warcraft and just shattered into different pieces.
Evil cannot create. It can only corrupt that whose good forces have made. That is it. You're seeing it right in front of your eyes. Blizzard are literally incapable of making a good thing out of their IP. That's why they're constantly dissecting the same old garbage over and over again. And all we get is rehashed content. Because they literally cannot make anything good. They're like just the Sauron. They're literally Sauron. So it's like Blizzard headquarters is the eye or something. And whenever it looks at you, you instantly get teleported to the Cosby Suite. I still need to figure that part out. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure they're this people.
Hoping that the players wouldn't realize it is literally the same glass. And the man who said,
yeah, Ref Classic was huge. Don't know what this guy's talking about. It was huge. But again, it constantly spikes and it goes down, right? Because people already played it. It was you. Obviously, whenever you're going to release a good game again, people are going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a good game. They're going to play it. But this time, it's not going to be for longer. They're just going to have their fill and quit because they already know what's up. It's not about that not spiking. It's spiking and then it's constantly go down. You want a video game, realistically, to spike and then slowly and methodically degrade over time. That's the natural cycle of video game. But unfortunately, every single quarterly update need to be met with some huge numbers. And that's why whenever they're close to their quarterly update, they release a new game or a new patch because they want to make it seem to the shareholders like the game is popping off. But in reality, it's all ephemeral.
All of this in motion, well, he didn't really have to watch it break. Because Microsoft bought the company, and Bobby Kotick just sailed off with a fortune, while the entire industry applauded him for turning World of Warcraft into a machine that just printed money. But with the supposedly villain...
Who's everyone? Like the 5 shareholder? Like, bro, no. Like, what are we talking about here? Nobody was happy with this guy. Everyone were happy that he went away. True. But at the same time, like, Bobby was actually really, really beloved by the shareholders. He was really beloved by them, and he escaped on a golden parachute. And you know what's funny? To this day, nobody really remembers the current lady who's leading World of Warcraft. He was actually replaced, and nobody knows who she is even. He's still the face of Blizzard. Unironically so. Yeah, don't make him cut off your internet again. Nah, it's okay. Surely he won't do it. Like, I was nice to him. He looked great in that suit.
Finally gone. So surely the magic could come back now.
I have to throw a little bit of a...
And this is where something genuinely unexpected happened. Something that would surprise even the old school veteran players and those who had left to play another game. Because Blizzard had one more card up their sleeve.
There may very well be a job posting up soon on the Orgrimmar Warboard. And if there is, we'll call you.
Bro, like, are you really showing a free Siabi here after everything he's done? Dude legitimately had to quit the company silently because he was afraid of, like, the FBI or something. It's so funny. It's laughable, but it is what it is. I don't really get the editing in this video. Also, I thought this video would talk about, like, World of Rainbows. Maybe he saved it towards the end or something? He just spoke about the entire Blizzard downfall. So... maybe I kind of had, like, false expectations. He did set me up for false expectations.
Hey,
There he is.
Guys, I miss you.
They had realized they could no longer recreate the magic that made the game so special. So they broke their in case of emergency glass and called back the heart and soul himself.
Please welcome.
Bro, they've beaten that case into a pulp. They didn't break it. It doesn't exist anymore. It's in tatters. Completely shattered into oblivion. How many times Blizzard pushed the red button of, oh shit, I need money now, release a classic expansion? How many times they've done that? Like, homie, we're playing TBC Anniversary. They're going to come up with different names for the same expansion each time. Like, what is going to be, like, next? TBC Revelations? What are we going to do? We're never going to stop because they're constantly going to be chat GPTing a new name for their expansions and just going to re-release them. Like, ad nauseum. It's just so revolting.
My friend and the executive creative
Nice suit.
director of the Warcraft universe.
Oh shit!
Chris Metzen.
They're bringing him back.
What up, BlizzCon? Horde, where you at? Alliance!
I never thought I would see this again.
The king had returned to save his kingdom. And for
Bro, imagine if he yelled Alliance and everyone were like, damn, that could have been dope. That could have been dope. Yeah, they brought Metzen back, but he lost his balls. He didn't lose anything. They were muzzling him. They keeping him on a very tight leash. His margin of, how do you say that? Like, creative freedom is extremely small. He can't do anything because most... Let me tell you how it works structurally in Blizzard Entertainment nowadays. You have developers at the very bottom, right? Working on the game. Maybe they have some ideas. Nobody really cares because they're doing grunt labor. And then you have a creative designer. Now, a creative designer is essentially God. He decides where to take the game. He decides what to do. And everything he said is like king. Now, the creative designer, I think, too, is muzzled by the higher-ups. So you can't really... You have, like, people at the bottom who do grunt work. You have creative designer who takes the game. No, I guess you have managers above the developers that kind of keeps an eye on them. And then you, like, have the creative designer who makes decision and takes the game in a certain direction. And I think that the creative designer is in cahoots with Holly Longdale, which is the VP. And everything just trickles from the top. Because Haley is getting her commands from... Haley's like Saruman. And... I guess, who's Sauron? I actually don't know. We need to figure that out. I don't think the current CEO is even involved with World of Warcraft. So she's getting her orders from Daddy Microsoft. She just takes a crystal ball and she's like, what's supposed to be the next patch for WoW? And it's like, just shows her a $sign and it's like, more money, okay. Unleash the classic. That's usually how they operate. So... you understand that everything trickles from the top to the bottom, and the people on the bottom or even in the middle has zero influence whatsoever on the game direction. That's why World of Warcraft looks the way that it does. Because Blizzard cares more about the cash up rather than the player base. They're just looking to milk you. They don't care about anything. The only thing that Blizzard reacts to is a graph that goes up like this. They don't pay attention to anything else. They don't care about criticism. That's why every single patch in retail WoW, it's the same cycle. It's Blizzard releases a new patch, it's completely busted, nobody likes it, everyone's complaining. After everyone's complaining, Blizzard releases a blue post that apologizes, says they're going to listen more, they're going to fix everything, then they slap a band-aid fix for a patch. People are like, oh, Blizzard is improving, and then Blizzard releases another broken patch again, and nothing is truly being solved. That is the cycle of the current disgruntled WoW player.
the first time in many years, there were finally real hope. But it didn't take long for this whole illusion to shatter, because both the company and the game he returned to wasn't at all the same anymore.
We want everybody to be able to play WoW. I just want to bring it to as many people as possible. And
if you make a game for everybody, you make a game for nobody. World of Warcraft should never target every audience. No game should target every audience. Even Super Mario didn't target every audience. So what are we talking about here? Like, accessibility, it's a good thing. Sorry, accessibility is a good thing whenever we talk in the spectrum of I don't know, like maybe making it more accessible to people with lower end PCs. Maybe you optimize your game in a way that may look a little bit bad, but for the sake of make sure that people can actually run it, it's fine. I think whenever we talk about accessibility in that context, it is completely acceptable and everyone's on board. Whenever we're talking about accessibility as making the game literally Fortnite so toddlers can play it, that is wrong. That's where you lose the plot.
That means, you know, evolving what Warcraft means, what it is, and where it's going. We want it to be approachable.
Today, both the Horde and the Alliance can easily play
Approachable means gay dragons, by the way.
together, whether that's raids, dungeons, PvP. I mean, they can even join the same guild. And with that, it's become way less about war and much more about art and aesthetics. Some players call it the Disneyfication of World of Warcraft. So how do you go from being the greatest game of all time to now not even want to stand by your name?
Even with Chris Metzen, we talk about, sometimes he's like, man, I wish we hadn't called it Warcraft.
Oh my god, listen, if she manages to prove that, I would subscribe for retail WoW until the rest of my days. No way he said that. No way he said that unjokingly, okay? I will not believe it. This is fake news. This is Alliance propaganda. I would not ever believe this. Yeah, Metzen is no percent in the company. He's just a writer, and nowadays everything is censored. It's not Metzen have no balls. To be honest, he's an incredible writer. He is. He's a phenomenal writer and a world builder. He's just, again, he's just being silenced. He has a very little room to operate in. It's not his fault. Yeah, they even went after the add-on community, these maniacs. Listen, the thing about add-ons in Midnight, I actually really did like the direction they took. I think all of the... listen, I'm an add-on... I'm a no add-on Andy, okay? Let's just make it clear. I think no video game, especially MMORPGs, should have any external system or program you need to use to play the game. I truly believe that whenever you log into an MMORPG, your mind should only be occupied with what on your screen at the moment and which systems you have inside of the game. You shouldn't look out for Wowhead for information. You shouldn't be looking at CurseForge for add-ons. Everything you need should already be baked inside of the video game. Now, they did kind of went and do that in Midnight, but they did it on a very, very poor level. They did a subpar job, and that's why people are mad, because they want details. They don't want Blizzard crappy damage meter. They want the good stuff. They're missing a lot of the key stuff that people enjoyed about the old add-on, and that's the real problem. It's not that Blizzard didn't do something the community needed or liked, it's the fact that they did a poor job at it.
Sounds kind of intimidating.
Did you catch it? Because this isn't according to Holly, her own words. This is actually something Chris has said, that he wished they didn't call it Warcraft.
He didn't say it.
Chris Metzen has entirely changed his perspective on the story that he's writing, meaning that it's no longer supporting the core concept of what made WoW so good, which is war and conflict between the two factions. And the reason why they don't even want to call it Warcraft anymore is because that the name itself is actually a promise. Warcraft. And the people who are designing the world now, well, they don't want to keep that promise anymore, because the promise was made by an entirely different group of people. If you take out the war, well, all that's really left is just scenery. But of course, in today's day and age, for Blizzard to split the player base in half, make sure that they can't even talk to each other, and let strangers in the Barrens ruin each other's evening on purpose, that idea dies within 5 minutes in any design meeting today. We even heard Jeff say that back then it was a controversial decision, but Alan believed in it so much that they just had to go forward with it. But at Blizzard, there's not really anyone left to fight for the war. Clearly, not even Metzen. And that is why that there will never be another World of Warcraft.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. By the way, nice bait title. He actually completely baited me with this one. Nah, he got me. I thought this video was going to talk about how the Rainbow Mafia hijacked the game, but I guess that's what you're getting whenever you don't pre-watch videos, right? I just watched it because I thought the title was nice. I got baited. I'm sorry, boys. I got hard baited here. But at the same time, it was still a pretty decent video. I mean, clearly he's doing a little bit of manipulative editing to make his point come across as clearer. It's fine. I think it is what it is. That's how you play the game. But yeah, I mean, what else can I say, man? It's just completely sad to see how World of Warcraft has deteriorated to a level where like, it's just unplayable. You have 6 different versions of the game, and people don't want to play any of it. I think Joker literally talked about it, like 2 days ago or something? A couple of days ago. It's crazy. Nobody wants to play the game anymore. It just, go woe, go broke. Well, unfortunately, they're not broke. They're making money. They're making millions. That's the problem. And it's the same with Diablo. Remember how everyone spoke about boycotting Diablo Immortal? Calling it Diablo Immoral? Like, don't you guys have phones? Bro, the game made like $500 million in its first year. What can you do? Some people, some literal weirdos, nerds with crypto money, are gobbling this up. And they're screwing us all in the process. And there's nothing you can do about it because cash is king in today's world and nobody has integrity anymore. Yeah, I felt the same, but now with Ascension, I like the custom experience more. If you're talking about add-on, Ascension is a completely different thing. Yeah, the add-on community invented most of the quality of life officially came into the game after vanilla though. Yeah, so Blizzard should integrate the add-ons. Like, they should just take it to their own. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously. We have another video. Hopefully, this one would be a good one, by the way, because I know this guy. He's actually a phenomenal talented content creator. I'll move myself here so you can see him. There we go. Just making sure it's aligned. But, yeah, listen, on the terms of add-ons, I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't think add-ons has room in MMORPGs. I think it's really bad whenever you tell a new guy, oh, you need to install this external program that actually fixes stuff inside of the game. No, just fix the stuff inside of the game. Like, don't force a new guy to download something. It's stupid. It's weird. Why would you ever do that? It's absolutely mind-boggling. Why would you do that? So yeah, anything on that matter? 100% agree. Based. That's why we love you, 182. That's why you're here. You're right at home. You're right at home. Imagine. Wait, let's click this. So, what was the Warcraft doesn't feel like Warcraft anymore? Yeah, I haven't watched this video too. Hopefully we don't get bait on this one. Like, he baited me hard. People go out of their way to customize the UI of their games. Yeah, but you need to be able to customize your UI inside of the game. But yeah, 100%. Like, sure, you need to have the option to do so. Inside of the game already baked in. You don't need to download Bartender to do so. You need to have it baked in like FF14. FF14 did a phenomenal job at completely redesigning your UI however you wanted to. They did a phenomenal job at that. But I guess Blizzard did really change it recently, so it's kind of fine as well. Anyway, guys, let me grab a singular glass of water and then we can start this video. I'm back. I'm back. It's time. It's time to begin. Let me shut off the music here. Just so we can all hear a little bit better. Oh my god. What the fuck? Wait, 1 second, guys. I'm checking just something. Hello to everyone new tuning on Twitch, by the way. I see some new peeps. How do you do? How do you do? Is everything good? Let's see. Okay, should be good. Should be good now. Just click this. Imagine only having 2 screens. Yeah, agreed, it happens a lot. I start to play a new game. It's not bad, but I can't customize my UI. I quit. Of course. Customizing your UI is integral to an MMORPG. MMORPGs are very overwhelming games with a lot of mechanics and distractions. You do really need to customize your UI however you like it. You have to. It's like, it's basic. You need to have this. If you don't have this, you're going to have a problem with players. Because I think for most players, they really do like to see their health bar at the bottom. Like somewhere around here. You see where my cursor is? I think most people like it. But personally for me, I like to see it at the top. Because I naturally, instinctively, I don't know why, I constantly look at the top left of my screen. So whenever I want to watch my health, I just look at the top left. So I really need to make sure the enemies are here and my life is here, right in front of each other. So it just makes it easier for me to watch the life total. Just a quick little example of why you need to customize your UI, right? It's like very important. But yeah, I mean, let's see. We have another video. Hopefully, this time we're not being baited. So this is about Warcraft doesn't feel like Warcraft anymore. Oh, brother, I already know. This video is going to be a good one.
Warcraft's story used to have teeth. It felt complex, filled with characters whose motives were layered and whose histories partially remained obscured. It was dark, it was mysterious, and it was...
Oh, sorry, it's very low on volume.
Teeth. It felt complex.
Okay, this is good. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I did a volume correctly. That's an oopsie on my part. Should be good now. Sorry about that. Yeah, there we go. We need to make sure our volume is at the perfect level to understand why the hell Warcraft doesn't feel like Warcraft anymore. Jesus. You know this video is going to be good when it starts with Wrath of the Lich King.
Warcraft's story used to have teeth. It felt complex, filled with characters whose motives were layered and whose histories partially remained obscured. It was dark, it was mysterious, and it was very cool. These days, it far too often feels like the writers are terrified that we might...
Bro, who conjured this crap up? What in God's name am I looking at? What is this? What are we doing here? Is this like... Imagine showing this frame to a WoW player from 2005. What the... It doesn't even look like the same game anymore. Is this a dragon? This supposed to be a cool dragon? What the hell? This looks like something you'd find in Hello Kitty Online. I mean, oh my god, it's so cringe.
Misunderstand any part of the story. Every character's motivations, every villain's agenda, and every emotional beat is explained to an almost dumbfounding degree. Entire story arcs feel as though they were written for a high school English project. No nuance, no depth, just an over-sanitized mess. And lo and behold, many of the core characters within the Warcraft universe have lost their luster along with this. This falls well outside my usual competitive Mythic Plus.
How many male characters have we seen on screen until now? Literally what, like one balding old dude? Like that's it? Like, have you noticed a pattern here? This game isn't for men anymore. This game is long gone. And by the way, this game isn't for women either. It's for nobody. Nobody plays that game, except for bots and a few whales who are too addicted to quit.
Content, but it is something that I care very deeply about. Today, I want to discuss where I believe World of Warcraft's narrative direction has taken a wrong turn, and what needs to change if Blizzard is ever going to give Warcraft its grip back again. Why do I even care about WoW's narrative? Hell, why should this matter to anyone other than the massive lore nerds? The thing is, from the beginning of Warcraft to the present day, I don't think that the gameplay alone was ever the primary driver of its success. Instead, I think the immersive world that the gameplay occurred within was part of it. I am currently a multi-0.1% title level Mythic Plus player. I spend
my condolences.
The majority of my time hyper-optimizing and engaging almost exclusively with dungeon content. And while I love the game mode itself, one of the biggest things that gives it meaning is the world that Mythic Plus belongs to. If I wanted to run dungeons and nothing else, I would go play Fellowship or something, but I don't. In fact, I genuinely could not care less about that game. The true beauty of WoW is that my accomplishment...
Also, Fellowship is such a pale imitation of WoW Mythic Plus. It's not as fun, and also you can't even customize your character. Like, brother, I wanted to play a tank in this game, and they forced me to play an old lady with a scar on her face. I don't want to play an old lady. I want to play a big, buff, brown dude, because that's who I aspire to be. And you forcing your propaganda crap upon me, it's not going to fly, Chief. Like, nobody wanted to play a lady monk tank. Like, people want to play a big, burly dude that can smack some gnomes around. It's so laughably cringe. But again, whenever I saw who made this game, I knew it was bound to fail.
Exist within a persistent fantasy world. The dungeon is not just a collection of mechanics and enemies, it is a place within Azeroth. So when that world begins changing from a deep and engaging fantasy setting to an over-sanitized and quite frankly childish narrative mess, it upsets me. I want to give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt. I want to believe that they are attempting to dig us out of some...
Never give Blizzard the benefit of the doubt, because they will give none to you. Always crack hard down on them. Always double up on the just criticization of Blizzard, because they deserve no less. They have messed us up for... Oh, shit! Wait, what? Subbed with Prime. Nox, thank you so much, man. Okay, that kind of took me by surprise. Thank you so much, brother. Sub, for the sub. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And, damn, what I was about to say, you completely... you took me off that, dude. I'm such a dumb person. Whenever I speak of something, I get so tunnel-visioned and insta-locked on that. Whenever I get distracted, I just completely lose the plot. What was I talking about again? Was I talking about... Oh, yeah, never give any leniency to Blizzard. They just suck. They don't really care about you. All they care about is their next quarterly update. They're not doing anything but except corrupt and destroy our game, making it for modern audience that doesn't exist. And, you know, they think we're Concord Andes. And all they deserve is to fail, because Blizzard has done nothing good for us. Nothing.
Narrative rut that it's been trapped in for years, but some of the writing lately has been absolutely asinine.
Bruh.
Some people will hear this criticism and assume that I'm complaining about the politics of modern Warcraft. I'm not. Honestly.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Don't ever... This is a false narrative. This is a false narrative that they try to manufacture en masse, because they want people like us to be seen as the aggressors and the one who are the true evil overlords, and we need to be casted out. It's an excuse for them to ostracize us. Never fall for that bait. Never fall for that trap. And you know what makes me laugh the hardest? The fact that all of this is coming back to bite them in the ass. This entire apparatus and false narrative they worked for over 5 or 6 years at this point is collapsing, and we're going to come out on top soon. Normality is coming back. Common sense is now the king, and we need to make sure that whenever we're on top, we create an infrastructure in which these weirdos can never consolidate power ever again, or be put in a position of influence. Because whenever we see them having any modicum of power whatsoever, they immediately abuse it to silence everyone else. And as true freedom of speech Andes, we can never allow this to happen. I'm not saying silence them. I'm not against silence. I'm not for silencing anyone, but we should make sure that we will not be able to silence anyone ever again. Everyone's voices should be heard, and every voice is important. Well, to be fair, some voices are stupid, but they still should be heard, at least in my opinion.
I don't give a fuck about that debate, and I'm not interested in turning this video into that. What bothers me though is Blizzard's increasing refusal to leave anything beneath the surface of the story.
Oh, and
the most
crying
compelling
again?
characters in fantasy
Classic.
are rarely the ones who have every motivation and emotion and piece of their history explicitly explained to the audience. I'm a emotion.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. It's like they made this character with the idea in mind of tokenizing the shit out of her. That's insane. I mean, missing an arm, missing an eye, like, what is that? All of the features that constitutes, you know, the how do you call it? Like the DEI bingo. They just mark that shit up. Like, they just, ding.
And piece of their history explicitly explained to the audience. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings nerd, and I think Sauron demonstrates this perfectly. Within the central story of Lord of the Rings, he is presented as an ancient and overwhelming power, you know, concealed in shadow, capable of corrupting the will of others, and consumed by a desire to dominate all of Middle-earth. But for those who choose to dig deeper, there is an enormous amount of history behind him. Sauron was originally a Maiar with an intense fixation on order and a hatred of chaos that made him vulnerable to corruption from the first Dark Lord Morgoth, and gradually transformed his desire from one of wanting to organize the world into a desire to completely control it. The important thing is that the main story doesn't stop and explain all of that to us. The depth exists.
Yeah, wait, we had characters without arm, eyes, etc., and they used to be special characters for other things, not because they're lacking body parts. Exactly. You hit the nail right on the head there. And whenever these characters lost something, it was meaningful. Whenever Bolvar Fordragon was literally cooked alive, it's because Ace stood against Arthas in the Wrathgate. That's why it was so important, right? But now we have Khadgar. Khadgar, the strongest, most powerful mage in Azeroth existence, is in a goddamn arcane wheelchair. He couldn't conjure anything cool to fly on, no. It had to be a wheelchair. Can you imagine how insanely stupid you must be to write something like this? It's so stupid. Oh my god. Like, why are we taking strong characters and making them weak? Why are we trying to lower the standards of important lore characters, or any characters at that matter, to our standards? We as humans should aspire to become something greater than ourselves. We should do better for society. We should do better for our close friends and relatives. We should look at World of Warcraft characters as someone to aspire to. Okay? That's what we need to do. They need to be role models. But instead of being role models, they became you. I don't want to be me. It's like the same type of people who forces you to make your character ugly. Like, bro, I don't want to be ugly inside of a video game. I'm already ugly in real life. I want to be someone a little bit better than myself. I want someone to be someone I can aspire to. It's so stupid, but these weirdos would never get it, man. Like, it's insane. Oh, look who's live now? What's up? How do you do, Jimby? And Illidan was dope. Illidan did nothing wrong. Bro was wrongfully imprisoned for 10,000 years. He just wanted to repel an invasion. He took a little bit of dark magic, and suddenly he's the bad guy? Come on, dog. Like, what are we talking about here?
But it's not forced down our throat. And Sauron is not morally ambiguous either. He is fundamentally evil. A villain can be unmistakably evil and still feel layered. Warcraft's most memorable characters have historically worked in similar ways. Illidan, Arthas, Garrosh, Deathwing.
None of them are villains. I don't care. I don't care. Listen, I can consolidate a little bit of ground that maybe... Nah, you know what? Screw you guys. I won't consolidate. I won't give you anything. Garrosh did nothing wrong. Arthas did nothing wrong. Illidan did nothing wrong. If anyone think otherwise, you're permabanned.
Old gods. They all carried histories and motivations and contradictions.
Wait, am I the villain? Nah.
That were not constantly verbalized. Not every element of their character was neatly explained, and that gave a sense of mystique. We were allowed to interpret them for ourselves. Modern WoW far too often does the opposite. Every motivation is explained. Every emotion is labeled. Every moral dilemma arrives with a correct interpretation that's attached to it. Rather than allowing emotion to emerge through performance, the story will brute force it until there is nothing left for the audience to discover.
It's like the same people who explain their jokes. Brother, if you have to explain your joke, it's trash. But you don't need to say, oh, I'm mad right now because X happened. No, you just need to show and portray that the character is currently mad because X happened. You don't need to say things. You never need to say anything because it's too on the nose. It just takes away all the excitement. It takes away all the understanding. But Blizzard at this day and age just thinks all of their crowd are a bunch of Boglomites that can't understand anything on their own. So it's just insanely stupid. Yeah, can you imagine the excitement in the writing room when somebody came up with a wheelchair idea? It's like, no, man. I imagine a council of Karens, all of them with like random variety of rainbow color hair dyes, just sitting at the round table, and they're like, oh, you know what? I think we should give him a wheelchair. And everyone's like, oh, what? Oh my, I nearly spilt my tuna salad. Oh my god, that's genius, Mary. Oh my days. And at the same time, maybe Endwin should cry about it. Oh man, that must have been lovely. You're right. Yeah, most of the villains of Warcraft did it to protect folks. Exactly. I mean, nowadays, nobody can write a good villain. And that's a huge problem, because Nowadays, like, oh, you're the villain. Okay, you must do something that is unanimously evil. Everyone agrees on it, and it's like, oh, yeah, you're just the bad guy for the sake of being the bad guy. There's no layers to this. There's no logic whatsoever. I mean, take the recent villain, Zelatath. Do we even know her motives? No, she's kind of goes in looking like a 50-year-old Californian mom after 20 different plastic surgeries, showing her feet off, and, you know, some nerds on Reddit are excited for that. And she doesn't say anything. She just do evil stuff because she want to do it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We don't know her motives yet. And again, I bet whenever they're going to reveal it, it's going to be like, oh, I was traumatized by my childhood drama crap. I had no father growing up. And that's it. That's why I do this stuff. That's why I want to destroy Azeroth. Cool. Okay, great. Off to the next villain. Yeah, some stories are a bit more complex, but it started with good intentions. Exactly. Because you have gray areas. Whenever you will operate in a gray area, you'll always have like a good villain or a good story. And even good, great heroes. Like good heroes, they always did questionable stuff. Right? Like they were never always these pure beings like the hobbits in Lord of the Rings, for example. Like Lord of the Rings is a very simplified story. So you have good characters who did bad things for the sake of, you know, I know, doing good in the world. And that raises a moral dilemmas within the viewer and the reader. And that's what makes them good.
Why I think the original War Within cinematic was so acclaimed compared to the Midnight one.
Yeah.
In it,
I mean, a really good example I can give you for that, by the way, is just the orcs. The orcs are just outcasts. They were literally chased away from their home world, and they had nothing to do. It's like, it is what it is, right? You can understand why they did some of the things they did. They can be seen as the aggressors, but at the same time, it's like, oh, they have nowhere else to go. And they literally died, lost limbs, ate each other for the sake of survival out there. It's harsh. Like, you can understand why they did that. Do you necessarily agree with what they did to all, I think it was the Draenei and stuff, but, you know, mostly humans? Like, no, of course you don't have to agree with this, but you can understand their motives. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Anduin's pain didn't need to be explained. You could see it in his face. You could hear it in his voice. You could feel it through the music. The story trusted that the audience would be able to understand without having it spelled out to them. That sort of subtlety is what Warcraft really needs to get back. And this doesn't just infect the broad stories as well. The writing within each scene has been a complete mess on this front as well. I could forgive some narrative discrepancies if Blizzard was building towards some sort of broader story arc. But there is no reason the dialogue within the stories at the moment needs to be so childishly and aggressively over-explained. Circling back to Anduin, there was a genuinely interesting moment in early War Within where he admits that, while dominated, part of him enjoyed causing pain and suffering to others. That is a really uncomfortable confession. It raises questions about guilt or agency, or whether domination only controlled his actions and exposed him to a side of himself that he didn't want to confront. And yet, that scene barely allowed any of that to exist before Faerun interjects with a lesson about mistakes and doubts not making him unworthy, and instead helping guide him forward. Anduin's like surprised and thoughtful, as though the moral framing hadn't occurred to him at any point. The issue isn't that he was comforted in the first place. The issue is that Blizzard introduced a difficult moral dilemma and then immediately told us how we should interpret it. A moment that could have carried genuine emotional depth was diffused before it had any room to breathe. I think a famous example as well is when the Aspects regained their power at the end of Yggdrasil. Kalecgos comes together and states that we did it as a family, after which all of the other characters come together and start restating the same thing, that they united and they became whole and discovered that it was their shared cause that mattered more. This was all...
Wow, why are they talking about the feelings inside of a war game? What are we even doing here, man? It's so pathetic. My god.
Done instead of allowing the event...
Bro, also please redesign this ugly ass fucker. Holy shit, it's so laughable. What is this design? Who thought this was acceptable? What the hell am I looking at?
...themselves to demonstrate that theme. Blizzard instead placed it on a platter in front of the player, complete with complimentary pacifier and juice box, as though the audience was too stupid or childish to come to an independent conclusion. Returning to Tolkien's depictions of Sauron, at no point does he stand in front of the audience and announce that his obsession with order has become an obsession with control and domination. The story allows that.
No, if Blizzard, current day modern Blizzard, would have made Lord of the Rings, Sauron would have stand right next to the Tower of the Eye and be like, and Gandalf was behind him, and Sauron would have gone like, he's right behind me, is he? And then Gandalf would just take a swing from his staff or something and just clap his cheeks. That's what would have happened. No, maybe he would have had like some killer one-liner like, in the name of the light, I shall banish you to the nearest Starbucks.
To emerge throughout his history, his actions, and how he is depicted on the screen. Modern Warcraft writing would have Sauron stand in front of Mount Doom and explain exactly what the ring symbolizes or something like that. And that same lack of narrative restraint extends beyond just the dialogue and goes to how Blizzard actually frames the player. Blizzard needs to stop treating the player like the hero of Azeroth, or the champion, or the Mawwalker, or whatever variation or title is being carried that week. This style of framing simply does not work in a multiplayer game. I am not saying that every single player needs to become an unknown peasant, but the moment that the narrative began centering us as a pivotal character is the moment that the world itself began to feel smaller. I understand that this is a hole that the writing team has dug themselves over many years, and to be fair, I think they've improved somewhat on this front recently, but one of the main allures of Warcraft...
I mean, listen, improving on Shadowlands is not really a high bar to pass by, son. Like, it's not. Midnight Story is technically worse than it's technically better than Shadowlands, yeah, but it doesn't say anything. It's like saying that I'm better than the average streamer because I have 5 viewers and the average has like 2. It's so stupid. Like, no, the story is trash. It's garbage, it's abhorrent. I really hope that The Last Titan would reset the universe, literally. Nuke Azeroth. That's what I would like to see. And Classic Plus would be the new standard, with new team leading the charge, and we have great stories again. But I know that I'm just coping out of my mind here. None of this is going to happen. Classic Plus is going to be filled with rainbows, and we all going to hold the power of friendship. It's going to be like a literal talent within the game.
Early on, was that you were simply a denizen of the world. The entire story did not hinge upon us. We still mattered, like we fought in battles and we defeated some powerful enemies and we did influence the course of events, but we weren't a critical cog in the wheel. We were simply taking part in events that were much larger than ourselves. You contrast this with modern WoW, where every story is built around us. You are the brave and uniquely important hero. My level 90 Shadow Priest, which was created 2 days ago, is suddenly the savior of the entire world and personally trusted by every faction leader, and apparently the only person capable of saving Azeroth from the latest cosmic threat. It reminds me of why in Dungeons & Dragons, groups will often retire or reset their characters once they've reached a certain high level. At a certain point, the escalating power and importance of your character creates like a narrative power creep that is so extreme that the world doesn't really feel grounded anymore. Every new threat has to be bigger, every achievement has to be more impossible, like every character has to be more uniquely important than they were before. This is exactly what has happened to Warcraft over the years.
And that's why WoW should have died after Wrath of the Lich King, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. World of Warcraft did not make sense after the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm, I think, in my opinion, either shouldn't have happened at all, or maybe it should have happened like 1,000 years into the future, after the culmination of Wrath of the Lich King saga. I think that's what should have happened, and WoW should have had a serious reset. It should have been like World of Warcraft 2, and now we see the results of not doing that. The story has derailed entirely, and nothing makes sense anymore.
We no longer feel like adventurers participating in the history of Azeroth. We feel like an axis that the world revolves around. Blizzard, we do not want to be the main characters. Stop treating us like we are. I do want to give the writers the benefit of the doubt here. Bellular recently made a couple of really good videos arguing that the World Soul Saga may function as something of like a narrative cleanse. like tying off decades of loose ends and creating space for Warcraft's story to move in a new direction. So maybe what we're seeing is Blizzard attempting the almost impossible task of neatly resolving storylines that are spread across nearly 3 decades of lore. Perhaps some of the awkwardness is unavoidable, but that only explains the direction of the plot. It doesn't excuse the way that individual scenes are written. Even if Blizzard is trying to resolve decades of accumulated lore, the dialogue doesn't need to treat the player like a child. Characters don't need to explain every emotion and every theme and every moral resolution as though the audience is completely incapable of thinking for themselves. That's what concerns me the most. This is no longer an occasionally poorly written scene. It increasingly feels like a defining feature of Warcraft's modern narrative style. And no matter how cool or compelling the broader story becomes, even after this hypothetical reset, it will still fall flat if every meaningful moment is immediately explained and sanitized beyond recognition. Because the narrative immersion of the game is not some irrelevant bonus for lore nerds. It is a massive part of Warcraft's future success. I want Azeroth to remain a thriving world that I am still living in and competing within 20 years from now. But if Blizzard doesn't trust the audience in their interpretation of the story, or just trust that the world itself will carry the meaning, WoW may just continue functioning as a game while gradually becoming a hollow shell of what made it so good in the first place.
It already became a hollow shell of what made it great in the first place. We're already there. Like, brother, the shattering happened. Like, we cannot take that back. We can't make the broken mirror whole again. It is what it is. You just have to dust off everything and start anew. And Classic Plus is that chance. Classic Plus can usher in that new era of WoW being great again. But the problem is, it's the same writers. Can we trust the same writers who drove retail into oblivion to make Classic Plus story good? Of course not. They're not going to do it. And that's why I'm not excited for Classic Plus, which is about to be announced in 2 months from now? So I don't trust any of this to be good. I just hope the world would be slow enough and big enough for me to explore and just have fun through the gameplay. But I'm not expecting anything from the story. I don't think their narrative is going to be good. I might be wrong about that. I hope that I do. Believe me, because I'm a true lore Andy. You know me, I can sit and quest all day and read every single scroll of text and book I can find lying around. But if the story won't be good, I just won't enjoy it as much. It is what it is. Yeah, they already blew up Dalaran. Great, now expand it to the entirety of Azeroth. And you can start with the damn gnomes. Chromie especially. Warcraft plot will end in a cutscene. Will end with a rainbow showing hope. Man, that would be a good one. That would be a good one. Yeah, how can WoW be great again, like in peak times with this team and what they're doing behind the scenes? I know. Listen, I know, man. I know. We're losing hope. But at this point, I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. And if I can squeeze in a couple of months of enjoyment out of Classic Plus, I'll take it. But I really wish it would be like the good old days. But to be honest with you all, I think they should just come back to making RTS games. I think they should just make Warcraft 4. But again, that would require such a impressive team that actually knows what the hell they're doing.
Think that my ramblings will have any actual impact on the direction of the game itself? Probably not. I'm just a passionate nerd with a YouTube channel. But maybe if people make enough noise, Blizzard will eventually recognize the mistakes that they have been making in their narrative design and character dialogue for years now. Warcraft doesn't need to become relentlessly dark. It doesn't need more blood or misery or moral.
It needs more blood, more misery, more dark. We need dark fantasy to make a comeback, boys. And I said it. We need more betrayals, we need more war in World of Warcraft, and we need to make it as apparent as possible. We need to emphasize it. We need to put it in the spotlight. That is important. So I actually kind of disagree with him there.
Moral ambiguity or anything like that. It simply needs to trust the audience again and trust the world itself to convey messages. Let moments breathe. Let characters have some mystery. Let the world feel larger than the player that's inhabiting it. A special thanks to all those who support the channel, including The Joy of Checks, Tobias, Yulem, Is This Real, and Obo.
Oh, that's the end of the video already, dude. Such a banger video. I love this guy content so much. Like, this dude is constantly being on point. I mean, he's such a great content creator. I'm gonna leave you guys a link so you can like his videos and subscribe to him. He's like truly phenomenal content creator. But yeah, absolutely. Like, everything, single thing with the narrative is trash. And I think I didn't spoke about his point right when he started the video of him being a strictly Mythic Plus player and still caring about the lore just goes to show how much it is important for players. You need to make sure that what you're doing inside of the world matters to you and it moves something, because Gabe Newell said it the best. The world need to be responding to your actions. You get a narcissistic injury whenever the world isn't responding to you. So you do need to feel like you're making a change. It doesn't have to be big. You don't need to be the champion of Azeroth, which unironically causes the exact opposite issue of you not doing anything because Azeroth is still in trouble every single day. But no, it can be the small stuff. The thing that was good about World of Warcraft is that you constantly help the little guy. You help someone with his farm. You help someone with kobold infestation. You helped someone in the dead mines. Even though Edwin Van Cleef did nothing wrong, you did help him. That's what made World of Warcraft great. And now we don't have this. We help mushroom people. We help bouncy mushroom people fight each other inside of an arena. How laughable it is. And I'm not even going to talk with you about Dragon Blight. Bro, all you did in Dragonflight was tend gardens and take selfies with whelps. How is that helping? How is that fun? It's stupid. It's stupid, it's sissy, and we don't want any of this in our World of Warcraft. But I guess Blizzard would never understand that. Yeah, what? Wait, sorry guys, I missed some of your comments here. I mean, if the leaks are true, Classic Plus do look like Season of Discovery Light. Listen, like, don't believe any leaks, okay? I was like, don't believe anything. But I really hope that's not true. My god. That would be stupid. I really hope they won't time gate the shit out of it. Because I think they will. And that would be problematic. Geb Newell also said that we can never outdo our customers. True. Yeah, listen. Whenever the customer is creating games with your engine, it comes out good. And that's why Blizzard are so afraid of Ascension and Turtle WoW. That's why they took them down. Because they were infinitely better than the current crap we have today. From retail. It was just way, way better. Like, what can we say? It was right, true. Based and real. Like, the reason Blizzard are taking down Ascension is because they're afraid of them. Gabe has given some legendary interviews, to be honest. Gabe tend to resurface every like 5 or 6 years or so, something like that. And whenever he resurfaces, he comes with longer beard, wider hair, and fatter belly. And he just drops little lore bombs on us. He just like nuggets of wisdom. And that's the good part. But yeah. Oh, damn. Wait, I've been streaming for like 2 hours. Jesus. You know what, guys? Actually, something popped out. We had a really great stream. We can talk a little bit more. But unfortunately, I don't have time to play Lords of the Fallen today. I do have things to do. Unfortunately, something popped up. But I'm glad we talked about the important things. We talked about the important things. This is, I really wanted to talk about this. This was important to me. Also, we had a lot of viewers on Twitch today. Thank you for everyone who came here and believe. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was great. I love talking about World of Warcraft. By the way, stay tuned. I'm going to start playing Warcraft 3 pretty soon. I already have it. I bought it like way back in the day. I need to recover the codes from my email, I think, but I saved it. I'm 100% sure I saved it. So I'll download it today probably, and we're going to be playing it soon. I just need to make sure I finish Lord of the Fallen, or maybe I just cut it off because it's trash game, but I do want to finish it. So I guess it is what it is. So we're gonna have some seriously fun streams. We're gonna play Warcraft, we're gonna have good times, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Apology, I had like some serious trouble at work. I need to resolve now. I usually don't stream for 2 hours, I stream for like 4. But today I'm going to make an exception. Today I'm going to make an exception. I hope you guys will forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you guys so much for being here, though. I love chatting with you. It was great. And I hope I see you tomorrow. Or the day after that. Whenever you're available. I'll be here. So apologies again. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you for such a great stream. I enjoyed speaking with all of you. It was amazing. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys soon.